Happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome to Social Intercourse. Thank you for joining us again for another fascinating week of topics. We have, as always, Vicky with us. Hi, Vicky. And filling in for Ranji because Ranji has that thing called a normal job. So Noosh is here with us again. And Noosh is filling in. Hi, guys. How are you doing?
Hello.
Noosh didn't get the memo for today's topic. She thought we were talking to a 9-year-old.
I blame Steven.
Today, so I'm trying to embody my teenager self.
But I love it. It actually, I think it goes with today's topic. I wanted to ask you ladies, did you know that there are 4 types of introverts in the world?
No.
I knew there were 2. There's more than 2.
Types.
There's 4.
It's
STAR. I didn't know that.
It's STAR. It's social, thinking, anxious, and restrained. Those are the 4 types of introverts, according to a researcher named Jonathan Cheek. I think that was his name. If I'm wrong, I know his last name was Cheek. Something Cheek.
Mr. Cheek.
I just remembered the last name because, it's an easy last name to remember. It could have been Jason.
Yes.
And 4 different types. There's restrained, which is the conservative, doesn't open up easily. Social,
Okay.
Those are people who are introverts that prefer small gatherings, like one-on-one things, and a lot of alone time. There's the anxious introvert, and they suffer from anxiety disorder. They just feel very awkward in situations, so they avoid situations. And then there's thinking. They're the silent and smart type and has trouble turning their brains off. And they're mostly, they just think they have better conversations in their own heads than with other people.
They probably do.
They
probably do.
100%.
And
Funny.
a lot of introverts can have different shades of introversion or mixtures of introversion. And I found that fascinating because I thought there was only
One,
one type.
Yeah.
And,
So you could be like an ST or a anxious. What was the other one?
FE or
yeah, exactly. You could be a combination, I guess.
Yeah. So bringing up the MBTIs, I don't know. Noosh, do you know your MBTI?
It's funny. So on my BNI meeting, I met one of the visitors who lives in Poland, and he introduced me to, what is it, MBTI? Yes, exactly. I don't remember exactly what I am, but I am introduced to it.
So according to Google, I typed it into Google and a few sources. They say that the most introverted personality type of the 16 personalities is INTPs. I thought it would have been INFJs, but INFJs have that feeling connection still. They like connecting to people who understand them. But INTPs...
Yeah, they don't have anything to judge if they don't.
Yeah. INTPs just don't care.
To judge.
Yeah.
Can you remind us, what does it stand for, MBTI?
MBTI is Myers-Briggs personality test.
Oh, okay.
Or personality thing.
So all of you who are listening, just Google it and do the quiz.
We also had a previous episode on MBTIs. So,
all of me, go to Google and do the test.
Just Noosh. She's the only one that did, yeah.
Yeah, we'd love to know what your MBTI is. And yeah.
You probably don't remember. I remember there was something introvert in it, but like an active introvert or something.
Yeah, because there's different even degrees of introversion. So you are a Cancer baby, born in July.
4th of July. Well, that's 8th of
July. Hey, we're 10 days apart. I'm the 14th.
Oh, I'm the American independence and you're the French independence.
I'm the French independence, yeah. And then Vicky is a Pisces.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
You guys are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
We're
we
insane.
all,
There's two of me in here, definitely. Yeah.
No, it's like the Geminis. My man is Gemini, and then I have a
oh,
lot of
he's got the dual personality, Gemini's here, right?
absolutely yes.
So we three are all introverts. And
Mhm.
our zodiac signs are actual introverts. And Vicky, you're gonna love this because
Okay, yes.
again, Google told me
What?
that the most introverted zodiac sign
Is
is a tie between Pisces and Aquarius. So
Oh,
Aquarius. Ah, so beginning of the year, I guess.
yeah, I
Huh.
found that
That's
interesting.
interesting.
I thought it would be like a Cancer or Pisces or even a Scorpio, but it is Pisces. Pisces is
No,
the most.
Scorpios, oh, you're too fiery. You're too, yeah.
No, but
No,
they are
Scorpios are too.
a lot of Scorpios are introverts. They're the types that keep everything to themselves, think to themselves. They think
The thinker
they
type.
don't open up. They won't open up to people unless they're close to them. So yeah, those are
Yeah.
Scorpios.
I've had to work a lot to kind of be more. When I was younger, I was I would probably put myself on the anxiety level of introvert. But I've gotten a lot better.
Yeah, because you have to force yourself into the world because it is a world of extroverts.
it is.
We talked about that too. We're like, we need to go, Rachel. We need to leave the house. It's been a week. Well, not anymore, but yeah,
No, but
it's been a week at home and not leave.
when I first came to America, I mean, I was very sheltered. I went to boarding school with girls. I grew up in a castle. I had very few friends, and then I come
Oh,
to
wait, I'm sorry. You grew up in a castle. Wait.
Okay, Rapunzel. I didn't know.
Okay, that's gonna be a story. Sorry, I did not mean
We should
to.
just have let's have a show where we talk just about like Noosh's life because I want to know.
Okay, sorry.
first
Anyway, make your point. Yeah, sorry.
arriving in New York City. I mean, I have never blushed and sweated in my whole life more than my first few years. And when I lived in New York City, first I lived with my dad. But then when I got my first apartment, I mean, I couldn't leave my apartment without a couple of drinks in. Like, there's no way. It was just too much. It was like, or going places, seeing people. And then, I mean, I had to trick to myself to go to places and get into situations because it was too much. God. And people, I would rehearse. I mean, there's so many events that I actually ended up missing the first few years because I thought I was not ready. I would rehearse the whole event, what should I was speaking, like how should I be standing, and how I should be breathing. Crazy stuff, like all up in my head. And then I ended up getting ready for the event and then not go. You know, all dressed up, all dolled up, and then I would chicken out and just finish the bottle at home.
No FOMO, the opposite of FOMO. She's like, I'm fear of not missing out.
Yeah. Well, you had the anxious introversion. The anxiety took over because you're just like, no.
Even my hands are sweating just remembering those years. So yeah that was God.
No, I get it. Rehearsing like what you're gonna say, and a lot of introverts that are out in situations come home and think of, oh, that's what I should have said instead of that.
Right. You go and have the whole conversation over again in your head when you get back. You're like, oh, and I would have said this, and then you would have said that, and then you would have said that, and then you're like, yeah. You're like, well, why am I doing this?
On the drive back home, I always have like the best repartees. I mean, like I was good there,
Right?
but in my mind, I'm still better on the drive back. Oh,
yeah, no, it's what they say the ratio to extroverts to introverts is 3-1. So it's 3 extroverts to 1. Yeah. So like anywhere from 30 to 40% of the population are introverts. So it's an extroverted world, and workplaces and all that stuff is made by extroverts.
Yeah, the introverts stay home.
The introverts,
right? Exactly.
Well, that's why the pandemic was great for introverts because they all got to work from home.
You know,
we didn't have to make up excuses about going out. Yeah, we didn't have to come up with anything because we're just like, oh, COVID.
To explain to people, I spent almost 15 years in the city, like, and I wanted to just stay home to work on my art, but then I'm missing out all the things that are out there. And then when I'm out there, I don't want to be there. Everything is so loud and so stressful. I want to go back home, and then the pandemic
Right.
happens. Like, yes, everybody's
Yeah.
And see, okay, you do art. Vicky is highly creative. I like to think of myself as creative, and most introverts are very creative, and that's why they like to stay home.
Like Noosh said, we have more fun in here, than out there. This is better reality than actual reality.
There was a study done at art school, a high school of art school of kids. And they studied the introverts and extroverted kids, and the introverted kids actually excelled with their art and with their pieces because they spent more time at home perfecting their talent and craft. While the extroverted art kids, they had talent, but they loved being out. So they didn't stay home spending hours and hours and hours by themselves doing their art. So I found that
I wonder if it depends on what kind of art, like were the extrovert kids in the musicals and the plays and the, that kind of more extroverted part of
but even if you're
artistic
doing
as opposed to like
staying home and practicing and perfecting your acting
so it didn't matter.
ability.
It didn't matter in the study. Oh, okay.
They didn't say what exactly. Okay, I didn't read the whole study. Okay.
That's okay. I was just interested in that because I was a fine arts major in college and I had to take so many hours of classes in each of the disciplines. So I had to do theater, I had to do music, I had to do dance, I had to do my two double majors, which were media arts and illustration. So I had to do each one of them, and I was like saving the like more extroverted ones till the very end. Till I didn't want to take those classes because I was like, I don't want to be on stage. So like the stage acting class was like highly anxious, and I kept that for the very end because I didn't want to do it, but I did it. And it was actually ended up being awesome. I think that's the thing too about us is like once we force ourselves to do it, sometimes we do enjoy it. Yeah, but you got to like shove yourself out the door first, and then make sure it's not too long so that you have like an escape plan.
That's how I tricked myself. So after the first show that I did on this channel, they told me like, when do you want to do it next? And I learned through the years just to trick myself and just like, well, let's do it next week, and then that's it. Like I'm fucked, well, in a good way, but like this way, like this, I am committed, so I can get out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's a good trick. I gotta try that.
Oh yeah, no. I need to trick myself. Otherwise, I mean, ideally, I wish I could just do it all naturally, but I at least not yet. You need to be realistic with what you have instead of trying to just be someone that you're not, or maybe either not yet or you're never going to be. So you just need to find the system that works for you, so that it's not too hard on you. Because it's true. I mean,
that's a really good point.
Also, introverts.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, we had the launch of our course last week. I spent 5 days in bed because that energy that I give to people, and me, I'm like a snail, a homeless snail. I'm old snail, and like all the energy goes on me, and I give so much, and then I just like I'm this big balloon. Then I deflate. I have nothing in me.
What you had was the introvert hangover afterwards. It's a real thing. It's called the introvert hangover.
Oh, is it?
And yeah. So you have to replenish your energy because you drain so much. Just a little social interaction will drain you completely. And Carl Jung was saying it's not that you choose to, it's you have to. You have to replenish as an introvert. It's just the way that you're made. Like extroverts get energy from being out social, and introverts get energy from having their own company. Being replenished.
That's true. My mom is a complete extrovert. Like when I bring her, the few times that I bring her out, like she's like a dynamo after that for days. She just like sucks everybody's energy. And she's 72. She has more energy than me and my men combined at 72. So when I bring her from outdoors, God, she's the Leo. So you can only imagine.
Leos, they're very extroverted, I believe. But a lot of the population, Carl Jung had said, because he's the one who came up with introversion and extroversion, and he said most people lie in the middle. They are ambiverts. So they kind of have a mixture of both.
One foot in each side.
I always call myself an extroverted introvert. So that means I'm mostly an introvert, but I can be extroverted. I do get some energy from social interactions, like big social things, but only in small amounts or under my control. So it's
like I love going to. Go ahead, Rachel. Sorry.
No, I just think it's different degrees of introversion.
Yeah. Because we like, I mean, I like going to concerts together and stuff. And so I love being in like a club or an arena and getting all that energy from the music and the crowd around you and stuff like that. That like gives me a high. Even though, because I feel it's kind of anonymous being in a crowd sometimes. Right. Well, but like
you're
crowds for normally.
By yourself.
Right. But normally I don't like crowds. Like I don't like one of the things about New York that drives me crazy is it's crowded. Like I don't like being kind of in that, but I do like going to shows and stuff like that and being in an audience. I like the audience energy for some reason.
Well, so I thought of FOMO because Vicky and I were talking about this because there's many times I do ask her to go out to do a lot of, because that social part of me comes out and I'm like, hey, do you want to go do this? Do you want to go do that? But it's because this is my social introvert thing. I want to go do things. I'm not going to go do things by myself because I'm socially awkward. So I need somebody else. People will invite me to a party. I need a wingman. People will always invite me to things. I'm like, I don't know anyone there. I don't want to go by myself because I'm going to be like in the corner, like, help me. But I will always enlist a friend to come with me. And then they come with me and I'm like talking to everybody. So I just feel like a security blanket. And I will ask Vicky to go. And Vicky's like, let me think about it. And then she doesn't.
I have this thing where I need to prepare. Like not even, hair, makeup or whatever, but I'm spontaneous. Like if I'm traveling or something, like let's go here, let's do this. Then I don't have to have a plan. But like if I'm gonna go out and be social and come out of the introvert and be, social, I need like 24 hours to like wrap my head around it and decide, okay, what am I gonna wear? How am I gonna do? Where am I gonna go? What's the plan for like what time? Blah, blah, blah. And if someone just asked me that day, like, hey, I got tickets to a game tonight, do you want to go? I won't go because my evening's planned. Like I can't go out. I'm staying in, like that kind of thing. I won't.
Well, for me, like I think that's Noosh. Maybe that's the same for you. I think most all introverts feel the same way. You cannot ask them too soon because then you talk yourself out of going. Like if you ask somebody a week in advance, then you say yes, you're going to cancel 100% because you've talked yourself out of it.
I can't. Yeah, exactly. I don't feel well today.
Don't ask an introvert last minute because the last minute is 100% no.
There's a sweet
not
spot.
ready.
Yeah.
I tricked myself, but because I was with friends, like some last minute things with friends, but it always made me feel uncomfortable. And then we did it and it was great, but it's just like, oh, I'm not ready. But what is it? It's like I'm dressed, I'm outside, I can go wherever the fuck I want. It's not ready thing.
It's the mental and energy, the whole draining aspect of it because you have to be out and you have to. That's what you're not ready for. Yeah.
The last thing like that happened was with my friend Noam, and we're just having a drink, and then he told me, well, let's go. Let's go. I think he didn't tell me exactly where, and then there's Madison Square Garden in front of us. So like, well, where are we going? To go see Guns N' Roses, like what the fuck? But then I'm so happy because I discovered what's the name guy, like the Slash, whatever hell his name is, that guitar player. Oh my god,
Slash, yes.
I'm so glad he's dragging
me there. The concerts are awesome. I don't know what it is about that energy, but my little vampire introvert self goes, and I just like.
Well, because it's not pointed at you. The energy.
Right. It's around me. It's not in my face. Good point.
Yeah. you could feed off of their energy that they're putting towards the stage. So it's like,
Right.
oh,
Right. Right.
so it might also be that feeling of, well, no, that's about it. Introverts supposedly love rain.
Love
I
rain?
think
Rain?
maybe it's rain and white noise. So I thought maybe
Oh,
with
yes.
constant feeling
Yes.
good vibe and energy could be similar
Yes.
to it.
I love the rain. We've had the
Yeah.
most rainy summer here. It feels like we're on an island. We wake up with a thick fog, and then the sun slowly comes out, and it's sunny for a couple hours, and then you have a monsoon for hours and hours and hours. I absolutely love it. I feel like it's
Yeah. We haven't had rain in what, Rachel? 2 months? 3 months?
I don't know.
Not a drop.
We're in Texas. It's
In
dry.
Texas.
It's a heat wave, and but see, here's the thing. I love rain, but my body does not like rain because I have it's a migraine trigger. But I do love rain. So to get that same effect, I will turn on. It used to be white noise, but with the ADD I have, I love brown noise and gray noise.
Brown noise?
Brown noise. Brown noise is so it's like a different level of
it's a different frequency, I think.
Yeah, brown noise is like everything, and green and brown noise.
Oh my god!
It's everything. So anyone out there listening,
there's all those apps you can play. Yeah, with
really?
the background, with the thunderstorms and stuff. You can play those. Yeah. That's always nice to.
The green and brown.
Have you seen like why? I have like Wi-Fi Girl on my when I'm working at my desk. Have you guys seen that YouTube? It's called Wi-Fi Girl, and it's kind of like a little animated girl with her cat, and it's like lo-fi beats, and it's kind of, or sometimes there's like rain out her window, and that.
And it's like an old kind of design, right? Yeah. My man showed me that. Really cool. It's like two cats at the Aristocats at a window, and they're just like kind of like rocking with the rain outside. Oh, so sweet.
There's a bunch. There's a whole bunch of different ones now. It's like that kind of the trend to do these lo-fi beat channels, and they have like some kind of anime or cartoon sort of. It's kind of static, but it moves a little bit, but it's not enough to sort of distract you, and you just work with it.
So Wi-Fi Girl.
Love it.
Anyone listening, go check out Wi-Fi Girl. Wi-Fi Girl, I'm coming for you.
If Wi-Fi Girl gives us a like, subscribe.
Exactly. Or any lo-fi. I don't remember the one that I was watching. But those are really nice actually.
So what's interesting? What do we have FOMO for then, Rach? Like what makes an introvert have FOMO, or do we?
Well, this is what you were telling me. You texted me after I asked you to go something, and you said no.
Oh yeah, I think I stopped. I said okay. So here's when I have it is when there's two things. When Rachel says, "Oh, do you want to go?" Whatever, I'm like, and then she goes, and then I see all my social media, my texts and group texts. Oh, look, here's Rachel doing this, and here's pictures, and here's blah blah. I was like, oh, I should have gone. Like they had such a good time. I would have had a good time. I should have gone. Then I feel FOMO. And then the other time is when people are talking about stuff that I don't know. I hate when people know stuff that I don't know. So when people are talking about things and I don't know what it is, that bothers me. Like when Squid Games came out or Barbie or whatever. Yeah. And I haven't seen it. Yeah. Then it's like, what are they talking about? What are they talking about? And then I want to find out. And then I'm usually disappointed. But
well,
like that's
you do a lot of thinking. Introverts we can't turn our brains off. We're thinking a lot. We have better conversations on our own with ourselves or with animals. A lot of introverts prefer animals over people. So
they're so agreeable.
Yeah. They don't judge you for being in your pajamas for a week. And
there's a bad conception or idea of introverts. There's always a negative idea of introverts because
it's an extroverted world, right?
Right. They think introverts are lazy or can't succeed in things. But, okay, here's the fact. 98% of high performers on the planet are introverts, like Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and Elon Musk.
They're introverts? I mean, well, Elon, I can see that. What a weirdo.
Yeah. Elon is an
he's a he's like the alien walking among us. He's not an introvert. He's like in.
Oh, God, yes.
But they are very successful because they stay at home, they do their business, they
Don't do
basically
anything.
Exactly.
and they're self-proclaimed introverts, so they know that they're introverts. Supposedly, Oprah is a self-proclaimed introvert as well.
I could see that.
So
Really?
come on, extroverts of the world, don't bash on introverts. There's many great qualities of introverts.
But the thing is, like, so extroverts, like my mom, something happened a few years ago, which was really magical because all her life, I mean, so she was a very famous singer in Russia. Everything fell apart. She decided to take my father and her husband and me and go to France, not speaking the language, like not knowing what we're going to end up doing there. And she just went there, and that's when we ended up at that castle. Then my father won the green card. She decided, well, we came here because he was sick. And then she wanted to finally realize her dream of being a designer. And she did. She helped design all the leather stuff that Beyonce was wearing at the Super Bowl a few years ago. She just goes, and that's why, like, for me, when I have like all my fears and I'm here in my shell, she couldn't relate. It's like, if you just want, just go and do it. And I tried to explain to her for so many years that it's not about want. Like, and I can't explain that to you. And one morning she came waking me up in tears, like, oh, my poor baby. Like, what's going on? And so basically she dreamt being me and in my skin and in my life, and felt all the fears and all the angst and all the, like all the what we feel as introverts 10 years ago. And she finally got it because she dreamt it. But otherwise she would never relate. She's like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Just be a painter. Go be whatever you want. And it's hard for them to relate to us because it makes no sense. They have no point of reference.
But
that's really fascinating.
Yeah, introverts are very self-aware, and so people think, oh, it must be so hard being. Introverts are happy being introverts. They're like, no, we're fine. We're happy. Let us be.
Yes and no. That's one. What was the one type you said? The super anxious ones.
Yeah.
Anxiety. Yeah, that's tough.
That's tough because social interactions. Well, that's why they're fine. Leave me alone. Just leave me alone, and I won't be anxious. Don't invite me.
The far end of the spectrum is hard. Yeah.
Yeah. But
but then that's when FOMO would really come. I mean, all my 20s were anxiety based and French wine fused to be able to address and get out a little bit. But because then if you don't get out, I didn't get out for quite a long time. And then that's when it's like, my God, what did I do with my 20s? Well, I was afraid. That's that.
Exactly. The same for me too, my 20s. Like I had my father passed away, and after that I was just like, I didn't do anything. Really?
20. When 20 he passed away, and that just free fall, no plans.
Fascinating. Yeah, for 10 years I didn't do anything except
for 10 years I drifted away too.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's fascinating. And then finally, I was like, what did I do with that time that I had? I lost all this time. What am I? Stop.
Well, you were an introvert who was grieving. So it's like, whoa, okay, I'm going to go into my shell because you need that time.
In the
abyss. In the abyss to replenish all your thoughts and emotions and feelings. And but you weren't lonely because you had your own thoughts to keep you company. No?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't lonely. I don't know.
And nobody, I remember my friends, so I had a group of friends, and 6 months in, they're like, come on, it's been 6 months, get out of it. So then I had just no friends. So
I'm sorry, that's very insensitive to tell someone after 6 months, oh, your close relative father, someone you love, passed away. Get out of it.
Snap out of it. That's what the actual word was. Like, snap out of it. Like, come on, like, brush it off. What are you doing? So that just,
That's okay. You lost them as friends. It's okay. Because you don't need this kind of friends in life.
Obviously, they're not the right people for me.
I mean, for anybody, I don't care who you are. If you have a friend that comes to you and tells you to snap out of it after you've lost a loved one, rethink that friendship.
Yeah, I mean, I had people tell me that too. sometimes it comes from a really insensitive place like that, and you're just like, you don't need those people around you. But there's also comes from a place of maybe these extroverts that are just like, okay, they think they're trying to help you by forcing you to
live again.
Come out of that shell or move on. And I understand that. But like Noosh says, they don't, the empathy seems to be more on the introvert side. Like we're a little bit more aware of, they don't really understand what it's like to not just snap out of it, or not, to kind of go out. And I think they're trying to help you. They see you drowning and they're trying to throw you a rope, but they don't understand that you're like, nope, I don't need a rope. I'm just gonna
like a noose around your neck. That's
right, exactly. Right, yeah. How do you want me to snap out of it? Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I don't want to bash all my extrovert friends either. I don't know. Do I have any extrovert friends? I guess I do. I must. Right? If there's 3 to 1, I must have some.
I mean, we have David and Steven. They're extroverts.
Oh, that's true. I don't know what David is. The jury's out on David. You think? What do you think?
Well, his personality type is an extrovert, and
I think David is more of an introvert. Steven is definitely an extrovert. Like, okay, like snap out of it and fuck off. Like, let's get on with this.
I'm curious.
Dave's like the opposite of us, where he's like an introverted extrovert. Yeah, maybe he's like
he might be in the middle, like me. We're
paddling the other way.
Again, I do a lot of my 20s. I was out all the time.
Really?
I was out all the time, and even in my 30s, and people would be like, "You go out a lot." But it was I go out, but I'm not socializing with everyone. I go out with like a small group of friends, or it was just my ex and I would go out to clubs, and we would just hang out with each other. And I did get energy from that aspect. But after I go out, it's like nobody bother me, nobody speak to me, I need to be like, if I want to go out again, if I want to go out again, don't talk to me.
Exactly.
And
I do like meeting people though. Do you guys like meeting people? Like, I love meeting new people and finding out about their life and talking to them and stuff like that. I do like.
Those are introverts. Introverts hate small talk. They hate chit chat. They want to connect to a person. They want to have deep conversations. That's what introverts are. So they're not going to go and be like talking to, hey, hi, how you doing? Chit chatting with her. How's the weather? How's your child? Or whatever. No, it's pick one person. They're like,
how's your soul? How's your soul feeling today?
Right.
Into
it. That's one of the things I think I do miss by living in the city, because I would just meet someone and I would just see that person, and it's like a little light, like a little like fairy in the dark. Because I did go out a lot, like at the end of my 20s, but also like you, like with a group of people, so I can just be in that place and just dance and just be and feel safe with all the people around me, and nobody's gonna annoy me.
Yeah.
And I would see that, that flickering little light, and then we'll just just go and say something, I don't know, like so deep and profound, just like give them a hug and say like, what's going on? Like usually I would get troubled people, because I do believe like I'm here to save the world one human at a time.
Right.
And I always I remember the one person that I ended up speaking to was at this amazing after party, members only, and it was the best house. It was like the Studio 54 of Deep House Underground after party. And this guy was there with his typewriter. Right away, my soul went straight there. And I'm like, amazing conversation. He wrote me this poem, and we just had the most amazing time. I forgot all about dancing. Oh,
that's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. So, interesting person bringing a typewriter to a.
Oh yeah, I know. Got the pleasure. No, but that was a very unique place. People were very out there.
Yeah, it's social things where you force yourself to go out and you have fun, like networking for business. I have to network, and
So
2 weekends ago, I think it was, I surprised myself. I surprised everyone around me because I went out for a networking event. And then somebody I don't know, a friend of a friend, invited me to their birthday party. And I was like, oh gosh, okay, I will go. I also, so my friend was like, oh no, I'll be there too. We'll go together. I was like, okay. But I had warned them that, listen, I don't know how late I can stay. My social battery will be blah, blah, blah. All the warnings as an introvert. We stayed out till like 2 a.m. I had
as long as in your mind you have the exit plan, you can stay, right?
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh, as long as you set up the expectation that you're going to leave,
right.
and it's all right. You give permission to.
Like, same. We're just gonna drop off a gift and drive by and kind of leave. And I was like, cool. But we ended up staying out all night. We had to drive by birthday. And then we met up with another friend afterwards, and they asked me, oh, did you do a lot of networking? I was like, here's the thing about networking. I'm really bad at it because I don't want to network just to network for business. I want to know the person. I want to get to know, like, be friends with them. I want to, like, I want to be friends over time. I met, like, 3 great people because that's the only time I spent most of my time speaking to those 3 people. And I think that's good enough for me. I'm very happy with that. So,
you know, you said a thing that is very interesting that I completely haven't thought about probably since I stopped doing it. But I used to, like, when I would eventually be in the place, I did not know how to get out because I didn't have that exit strategy. And it would be like I'm stuck in a labyrinth and I'm trying to figure out how to find the door. And the door was right there. And I was making like all those scenarios. Well, okay, let me just go and move a little bit over there and have a little more wine, or maybe like seem normal.
Right? Exactly.
You have to have the strategy.
You have an exit plan, then that takes that anxiety away. You're like, okay, I'm only gonna be here for 2 hours. I can do 2 hours, and I'm just gonna go get one drink and do this. And like 4 hours later, Noosh is with the typewriter guy, and like having a whatever
Well, okay. Moving on to introverts and jobs. I was looking at Indeed, and Indeed has some great little blogs and stuff. I don't know. I didn't know that. But they were talking about some great jobs for introverts. So there's like, you think everything like, oh, well, artist, writer. They said they were saying social media manager. And you think, oh, social media manager, don't you have to be social and be out there? And no, you're just writing content. You're just managing content and copywriting, and that's it. Transcribers are a great job for introverts. And they said psychiatry and psychology. And you think, oh, you're talking to clients all day long, but it's because you're getting deep into the soul of another person, which introverts love. They love connecting to another person, getting deep into their psyche. So
I always want to be
my brother's an extrovert, and it's interesting you bring that up about jobs because this has nothing to do with the actual job, but before the pandemic, he got a job with a company that's out of state, so he works remotely. And when he got the job, he was like so upset. He's like, I want to go into the office. I like going to the office and having people around and having that like office culture, going out to lunch and, bouncing ideas off people. And I'm like, God, I hate that. Like I hated office culture. I hated the stupid meetings. I hated people coming in late and eating at their desks instead of working. Like I hated the whole thing. I hated people talking to me. And I'm just like, once the pandemic hit and everyone was working remotely, I was like, and all these opportunities came up to work remotely. And I was like, yeah, finally. And so that was a stark contrast between the two of us because he hated it and I loved it. So,
but I mean, that's a great thing for all the introverts out there, because now there is the option. I mean, the course that we just built is for people to be able to work remote, and I feel that now, especially kids, because they're so plugged in, unfortunately, they're not only introverted, so many of them are socially awkward now. Like they went like a completely different level of many layers that is yet to be discovered. But at least that will give
right.
an outlet. But the funny, I mean, the thing that we added to the course is the human dimension, because here in America everybody thinks, you know, like, get the money, get that job, but nobody thinks about you as a human. And I just wrote a note to actually add a quiz to see if you're an introvert and extrovert, like, because we have so many different links for, like, you know, self-help and like developing things, but as a human, if you don't know who you are, how can you choose the best for you? And who knows who, you know, especially kids, like if they're introvert or extrovert or all the things in between. And then once they know, they can really, all right, well, those are the best jobs for you. The thing that feels
Right.
good for you.
Are we growing extroverts? I mean, our introverts, are our children being influenced by the fact that they grew up during a pandemic and had to be isolated? And I know that, you know, and having social media and not having to interact with people and just being behind a keyboard and just not having that empathy or from the connection of being face to face, or having to deal, you know, things you'd say behind someone's back and not to their face. Are we raising this next generation of introverts, and not in a good way, like introverts who can't relate to the humans around them?
Is it your environment that causes introversion, or is it an inborn thing? But let's leave that off.
There you go. Okay, go look up Jung again. Yeah,
we're gonna go talk about this in the after show, because we're coming up on the after show.
Okay.
Let's invite the extroverts in. So for all the listeners out there, thank you for joining us. We're not bashing extroverts. We love extroverts. I love extroverts. And if you are an introvert and you related to what we're saying, please share this video, like, subscribe, and join us in the after show. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye-bye.